President Vladimir Putin declared that the conflict has reached a global dimension. According to him, his missile is invulnerable, as no air defense system in the world, including those of the United States, can intercept it. Putin affirmed that Russia is prepared for any scenario and issued a strong warning.
Meanwhile, Ukraine is calling for immediate support from its allies in a context of growing global tension. Kyiv denounced the launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile, but Washington, which was notified by Moscow 30 minutes prior, denied this information.
Putin spoke about the Oreshnik missiles, assuring that they have the capacity to reduce everything to ashes.
On another front, Volodymyr Zelensky continues to surprise with his actions and statements. One of the most striking pieces of news is his offer of €500 million to Slovakia to obtain their support in Ukraine's NATO accession process. But it doesn't end there, as Zelensky has also demanded compensation from NATO for not having invited his country into the military alliance. The Ukrainian president has requested air defense systems and additional military support, sending a clear message to both Europe and the United States. Is this a desperate strategy or a meticulously calculated move?
Behind this story are tensions related to the supply of Russian gas, accusations of betrayal, and potential economic crises that could impact all of Europe. The last NATO summit in Washington, as part of its 75th anniversary, brought together leaders from around the world. This event not only celebrated the history of the alliance, but also addressed crucial issues for the future. It made it clear that there will be no invitation for Kyiv in the short term, which generated diverse reactions. Some leaders expressed their support, while others showed concern for security in the region. Faced with this refusal, Zelensky has requested between 12 and 15 additional air defense systems, a demand based on agreements reached in July, highlighting the urgent need to strengthen defenses. Zelensky's request reflects the growing tension and the need for a quick and effective response.
Meanwhile, Zelensky has tried to obtain individual support, which generated a scandal with Slovakia. The Slovak Prime Minister, Robert Fico, revealed that he was offered €500 million coming from frozen Russian assets to change his stance on Ukraine. In a third instance, Zelensky accused Fico of being too close to Putin and of jeopardizing the security of Slovakia and all of Europe through agreements related to Russian gas.
Furthermore, Kyiv announced that it will not renew the contract for the transit of Russian gas through its territory, which could generate an energy crisis in Slovakia and the region.
Faced with this situation, Robert Fico has rejected Zelensky's offer, calling it absurd and pointing out that it would harm the economy of a member of the European Union. Zelensky has also turned to the Joint Expeditionary Force, a group led by the United Kingdom that includes Sweden, Finland, and Denmark, requesting additional military support to strengthen their defenses. This group has been crucial in coordinating military efforts and providing strategic resources. However, these demands could fracture the unity of the Allies, especially among those who are already questioning the economic and political cost of the conflict and who fear that prolonging the war could lead to an even greater crisis, and the long-term viability of maintaining such a significant military presence in the region. The pressure on European leaders is immense, as they must balance security with economic stability.
On the other hand, Germany has been one of the largest contributors of military support to Ukraine, providing a variety of essential weapons and equipment. This support ranges from armored vehicles to air defense systems, which has been crucial for the Ukrainian resistance. After the United States, with an investment exceeding €28 billion, including significant financial aid. This aid is not only limited to the military, but also includes humanitarian and economic assistance to help stabilize the region. However, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has repeatedly refused to send Taurus missiles to Ukraine despite continuous requests, to avoid a direct confrontation with Russia, underlining the importance of diplomacy and strategy in German foreign policy. Scholz has emphasized that peace and stability in Europe depend on a balanced and careful approach.
NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte recently intervened, asking Zelensky to stop criticizing Scholz, arguing that German support has been significant and that such criticism is unfair.
In the background of this crisis lies the European energy problem. Dependence on Russian gas remains a vulnerable point, and the interruption of transit through Ukraine could have devastating consequences. Although Europe has tried to move towards renewable energy sources, these are not reliable enough during the winter. Germany, for example, has had to resort to coal again to ensure its energy supply, despite its previous efforts to abandon this polluting source. Meanwhile, frozen Russian assets have been used as a tool of political pressure, a dangerous precedent that could be replicated by other countries in the future. Ukraine's entry into NATO is not just a political decision, but a move that could trigger a direct conflict with Russia, something for which Europe does not seem prepared.
Zelensky continues to move on multiple fronts, offering money, demanding weapons, and pressuring his allies.
The future of this conflict remains uncertain, with an increasingly complex geopolitical chessboard and a winter that is testing not only military resistance, but also Europe's energy capacity. While political leaders play their cards, the population continues to be the most affected by the consequences of these decisions.